What is the principal recommended attitude and behavior in relation to benevolence? Gentleness. Sakyong says, gentleness is always the best whip. Meaning, gentleness is always the best way to get things done. And oddly enough, if you think that you use the whip in order to speed things up, it's actually pointing to this fact that in order to finally get there by the most efficient method, you have to start with a method that is actually going to deal with the reality of the situation. Because if you don't, it will unhorse you and slow you down, often just before you think you have got there. We've all sat in meetings where either we haven't been invited to speak, or we didn't feel the timing was right, but we feel there's something wrong, and a blah, blah, blah. And the more the person who's running the meeting is steamrolling our head, the more we feel the need to speak up. And then two things either happen. We blurt out at the very end, or what's much more common, we wait till after the meeting. Then we talk to everybody else, and we make sure that what was agreed is not implemented. You know, these are just completely common human behavior patterns. And what he's actually saying is, if we want to rule or lead in the context of that, we need to know what those patterns are. We have to take that into account, and that actually by doing that, we are going to be able to get our horse, to the end of the finish line faster. So I just want to say that what I've just shared there is based from my own extremely painful experience of not doing this for many, many years. And because it's such a fascinating habit, I still do that. But occasionally, I have tried to follow this instruction. And when I've tried to follow this instruction, you can't imagine the resistance I get from my colleagues, because it seems such a waste of time. Why do we have to listen to this? I remember once being at a very, very difficult situation, and someone said to me, "President Rioch, why do you have to drag us through this again?" That's a very difficult question to answer to somebody. You can't just give a technocratic answer. And the reason sometimes we have to drag ourselves through it again is because if we don't, no outcome is actually going to stick. If deep, unresolved issues are not acknowledged, not addressed, they just continue to be there, skillfully sabotaging every rational effort to move forward. So I'm mentioning this perhaps in a darker way than you might associate in the beginning with benevolence, really as the realpolitik of being able to lead in a dark age.